So my final film is called Golden Silence, and it's about a woman who uses her silence as a method of power. It's inspired by all of the times where I felt dismissed or interrupted or spoken over, especially by men, and how much energy I would save if I didn't waste my breath and I just stopped speaking altogether, basically. Okay, throughout history, silent women have been deemed submissive. However, I want to kind of turn this narrative on its head and explore the power and control that you can have with silence. It can definitely provoke anger, which is something that I explore in my script. So we follow the story of Margot, who is a selective mute, and she basically exclusively expresses herself through her paintings and her facial expressions. We follow her with one of the openings of her exhibitions where she meets a man named Dick, and he tries to unravel her as this kind of enigma, tries to make her speak, but she refuses and she just wants to play games with him because that is her kind of way of amusing herself. So she ends up going back to his, and through games of chess, through sipping his wine, through putting on his wife's lipstick, she continues to anger him. It builds up to a point where he actually tries to choke her, but he fails in that as she grabs a sword from a nearby suit of armour and stabs him in the chest. And she watches him bloodied and in pain on the floor, and steps over his body. So yeah, it's arguably quite morbid and dark, but at the same time we're dramatising the experiences of women and the frustration of it, because I mean, maybe in a certain world and with a certain personality like this, things could happen if people keep oppressing women, you know? So we end with her painting a portrait of Dick, and the police waltz in. She holds up her hand and finishes the painting with the last flick of his moustache. We see 6 other paintings of men, and they all represent the 7 sins. So Dick represents pride. She stands up, puts her hand up, and just looks straight at the camera because she doesn't care that she's being taken away by the police. She's finished her goal. She's finished this series of paintings. And she stayed true to herself, and that's all that matters to her. So yeah, arguably, she's just a woman that wants to live her life free from the patriarchy, free from oppression. And yeah, I just love making films with female protagonists that are super flawed because we see so many perfect women on screen. And I think it's time we showed women who are maybe slightly more unlikable or slightly weirder, or women who aren't polite, women who won't submit to people just for the sake of it, women who do what they want to do, women who are perhaps even selfish, because being selfish isn't always a bad thing. Yeah, just women who are real, basically. We do need quite a lot of funding for this film, as I've decided to write something that with settings that are quite luxurious, and stabbings and a lot of dramatic things, and to make that really come alive and make Margot's story come alive, I do need some funding for that. So anything that you could give to this project, I'd really appreciate it. You can have a chance to be an executive producer on this project. And yeah, just if you can give anything, I'd really appreciate it, because I think this is gives a message that's close to my heart and close to many women's hearts, and could really change people's perceptions about things. So yeah, that's it.